And when I make a phone call to Michael Irvin, he always answers for me, and I appreciate that so very much. The playmaker himself, the Hall of Famer, and Taylor Mattingly Eisen's godfather, Michael Irvin.
Yes, sir.
Now, speaking of Deion, when I called you yesterday, you're like, Stews, and I love this guy. She's like, Stews, hold on a second. All right. And then you went off on some podcaster who had the audacity to say that maybe Deion couldn't play against the modern day guys out there. And you heard me. I was howling on the phone. Give the boys a little bit of a sample of what you were saying out there.
Well, and seriously, Susan, you called me right when, I get up in the morning and I got to go through my thing before I turn on any social media, my little devotion. Deion does it. We all, just make sure we set our minds for the day. And then even coming right out of my devotion and all of that, I turn on and this is boom. Right here, Deion couldn't. I don't know if he can cover the guys today, And then went on to talk about. Well, these guys today are just too fast. They're too fast. And then they said, the guys that used to play, they were not that fast. In a picture of me, they put my image and Jerry Rice's image up. So, I guess my devotion didn't work that morning. I went straight off. I went straight off about that. Because really, man, you guys know, I love the game, and we're continuing to pass down the game and teach the game to other people. But don't try to take away what we've accomplished in the game. You know what I mean? Like, there was a time when this game was different. I love the safety rules and all of that they've made so everybody can stay healthy. But I played at a different time.
You talk about teaching and you talk about setting the table for all these guys. What would you say to A.J. Brown now?
I love A.J. Brown's grit and I love his fight. Now, I would say it to the whole organization. You need his fight to be for you. You don't need his fight to be against you. You know what I'm saying? So I think they're trying to get in that place where they're working together. They love him because of that fight. You see how he takes that ball away from defensive backs. That's the fight within him. So you gotta manage the fight because it's a great ally, but it's it's not so good when it's going against you. So you work it out with AJ. You talk about he just wants to be loved and know how important he is. Think about this, guys. Wide receivers, we're the most independent, because we sit way out wide, dependent person in the world. That oxymoron right there makes you, makes it kind of strange. So yeah, you gotta let him know he's important to all of the process. And they did it last week. They started trying to get him the ball early, make sure he feels a part of something.
And I'm just curious about who you have your eye on, both in the NFC and in the AFC.
But let me tell you what's so great. And I'll tell you, let me give you two teams that I mean really, really taking some steps in the AFC. When you look at like Jacksonville, I'll go Indy first. Let's go Indy because Jacksonville's the sexier story because of Travis Hunter and Travis Lawrence. But Indy's making a step with when he left New York and all of those hard things that New York has put Daniel Jones through. He goes over and become Indiana Jones and goes off. You know what I'm saying? So there's a whole nother thing over there. That I love seeing that story. And all of those stories, think about all of those quarterbacks that have left New York, not just Indiana Jones, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, all of them that have left New York, having a good career somewhere else. I keep telling New Yorkers, maybe y'all should lighten up a little bit.
Our friend Stephen A. said that Dak is his leading candidate.
Wait. We should talk about Jacksonville, too.
Okay, let's go back. I'm happy to talk,
I wanted to finish that up.
Let's go.
Because I think Jacksonville, that step they made the other night with the Chiefs, too, is big. And I can see, I know he's a young kid, and I remember going into Dallas early on. I can see what Travis Hunter brings to Jacksonville. Because he's coming with all of the hoopla and the Heisman and the two-way player. I feel like that takes a little bit of pressure off of Travis Lawrence to have to carry the star of the team all by himself. And I think we'll see a better Trevor Lawrence from it. And then a maturing Trevor Lawrence came up out of beating Andy Reid in the GOAT, the young GOAT anyway, and Patrick Mahomes, and the way they won that game. You're down 14. So right now, Jacksonville's saying, I guess we're not ready. We thought we were ready. We came into this game thinking we were ready, only had one loss, and now we're down 14. I guess we're being measured by champs. But then they reel off 21 straight and win late. That's what Patrick Mahomes does. I just think I see some coming out party in Jacksonville also.
First of all, every time the ball is anywhere near Travis Hunter is the most exciting moment in the game. I mean, it's like every time there's a possibility he's near the ball, there is electricity. That's number one. Number two, at the end of the game, when Trevor Lawrence is there, he steps on, what was his center's foot, trips, goes down, scrambles up, doesn't get hit, rolls around to the right, and then finds a way into the end zone. Did you see that happening, or did you think the play was over? It was just so insane.
It was so insane, and that's why I said, wow. Because if we're sitting there saying that, that's what they're thinking. And it's a confidence that you build. You're like, oh, my God, I can't believe that. And you start believing, oh, man, this is our year. We're supposed to do something. We just did that in that kind of situation and still came up with the victory. So, yeah, I'm telling you, a man's mentality becomes his real reality. And I love seeing that confidence. You just said it. You're expecting something when Travis Hunter steps on the field.
That's right.
They're expecting something when he steps on the field, and that gives you hope. And I always tell people, hope will dictate effort. The more hope you got, the more effort you give.
All right, I'm so curious then. We'll talk about Dak in a second, but you talk about confidence and how that injects into a player's personality. Looking at Baker Mayfield now, years ago when he was out there and he was cocky and brash, people were saying, he's cocky, he's brash, he's not ready for this. Now you see it, and it's confidence and swagger. So how have you seen how he has changed, and also like what he got for being who he was back then versus how he is heralded now? Well,
and it's an interesting point that you said how Baker has changed. I myself personally look at the perspectives we put on Baker that's changed. You see what I mean? Baker had that same mentality coming into Cleveland. But okay, now lifting Cleveland up and getting Cleveland there was a hard chore. And we would not, we went after him because he had this big, bold personality, and they didn't result in victories. I went through that my rookie year, and it takes something. Everybody got to start believing to turn it around. And Cleveland's hard is still going through hard times. But Baker goes somewhere else where these guys like, yeah, okay, let's give him a shot. He's the same dude, but he's winning. He's winning now. He's more mature now. He knows how to handle. He knows in football now, it's not just about me making the great play or the big play. It's also about me not messing up and making the dumb play. Now, all of that bold and brash stuff can be seen as confidence and cocky because you're not doing the dumb stuff because you learn. I just sometimes got to get out of a play. But he's right there. And you give him the players he has, and that young kid, I love Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and all of that, but that Emeka, boy, hey, I used to have rules when I was playing with Troy. I used to say, when Troy throw, I'd go. My job is not ever to let them find out somebody else can grab these passes from Troy like me, and they can pay them way less than me. That's going to be a problem. You see what I'm saying? And Emeka right now, boy, he's stating his case to be that big-time next receiver in the NFL.
He is indeed. All right, before I let you go, I'll go back to that Stephen A. calling Dak MVP candidate. What do you think of that?
Oh well, no. After I told him that's how Dak had been playing, he begrudgingly got to that, and it still stings him to even say that. But reality must be spoken, and I got to give my brother some credit. Sometimes it's hard to look the truth in the face and then speak it. You know what I mean? Look at I don't even do politics. I'm gonna stay off that analogy. You know what I'm saying? I was about to do some politics here, but I'm gonna stay off that analogy just to keep it down the middle. But yeah, I appreciate him acknowledging how Dak is playing, and he really is. I also see something in George Pickens. I think George Pickens he's a phenomenal talent. He's a phenomenal talent. But moving from number 2 to becoming a number 1 receiver is not an easy thing. And he stepped in and he's made some plays. And I think he's still not anywhere near his ceiling, as far as the plays he makes. And you get Dak, George Pickens, Flournoy doing what he's doing. Now you add CeeDee Lamb back to that when he gets healthy. That's scary. And Dallas can have a shot at doing it. It's just that they got to be scoring 35 to 40 points a game, unless the defense shows up like it showed up last week. But we can't, expect that right now.
Who else are you looking at for your MVP guys playing right now heading into week 6?
Well, we just talked about him in Baker. Baker's playing like, hey, an MVP too now. You got to look at it and say, hey, those two guys right there. And Baker has the better record right now, the better record, overall record, and winning is the ultimate judge on a lot of things. But yeah, I would put Baker Mayfield up there.
All right, I love it. Mike, you always answer the phone for me. I told Liz I'd get you off at 40, so I'm going to say goodbye to you, but I'll look for my call coming up. Always there.
I appreciate you. I love you, my sis.
Love you. Love you back.
Thanks, Irvin.
Michael Irvin, playmaker, right here on the Rich Eisen Show.
Get your work going, man. I was looking at myself on when we were looking at the old video right there. I was like, man, I look good right then, and I look good right now. I'm holding on to this thing.
You got me.
I'm gonna hold on. That's what I'm gonna do. All right,
guys. Mike, I always say this. Like, I don't know if you remember this. I'm sure you do. When you spoke at Taylor's baby naming, and Mike was there in our house, and he's talking. It was just a beautiful speech. And you've never seen more women staring at Michael, who happened to wear a skin tight sweater that day, and he's talking.